Hi, Saul Muerte here, continuing my exploration of Dennis Wheatley's Library of the Occult. Today, we descend beneath the grandeur of the Paris Opera House to explore Gaston Leroux's haunting classic, The Phantom of the Opera. First published in 1910 as a serialized novel, Leroux's tale weaves together gothic horror, romance, and mystery, rooted in the author's background as a journalist fascinated by both criminal intrigue and the hidden architecture of Paris. Gaston Leroux himself was born in 1868, passed away in 1927, was a French journalist and novelist, best known for his flair in combining investigative detail with the uncanny. Before turning to fiction, he gained prominence as a court reporter and foreign correspondent, covering sensational trials and political events across Europe. His journalistic eye for fact-finding and intrigue deeply influenced his fiction, allowing him to craft stories that felt grounded in reality while still brushing against the fantastical. Though Phantom of the Opera is his most famous work, Leroux also penned The Mystery of the Yellow Room, one of the earliest and most influential locked room detective mysteries. In The Phantom of the Opera, Leroux channels his investigative instincts into the hidden world of the Palais Garnier, turning its forgotten cellars and trapdoors into the perfect stage for horror and romance. The story follows the disfigured musical genius Eric, better known as the Phantom, who haunts the labyrinthian depths of the opera house. Obsessed with the young soprano Christine Daae, Eric manipulates, schemes, and terrifies in his quest for love and recognition. What makes Phantom of the Opera endure is not just its surface gothic thrills, but the way Leroux fuses myth, psychology, and the grotesque with human longing. Eric is both monster and tragic figure. His deformity and isolation turn him into a symbol of the outsider, a theme that resonates far beyond the pages of the novel. Christine's torn affections between Eric and her childhood friend Raoul elevate the narrative into an exploration of innocence, temptation, and sacrifice. Culturally, Leroux's novel has cast a long and enduring shadow. Though it was not initially a massive success, its afterlife has been extraordinary. Lon Chaney's legendary 1925 silent film brought Eric's horror vividly to the screen, with his self-devised makeup shocking audiences into silence. Later adaptations, from Hammer Films' take in the 1960s to Andrew Lloyd Webber's globally dominant stage musical, ensured that the Phantom transcended literature to become a modern myth, an archetype of gothic romance, as powerful as Dracula or Frankenstein. What also sets the Phantom of the Opera apart from the within the Library of the Occult is Leroux's grounding in journalistic realism. While many of the titles in this series lean heavily into the esoteric and fantastical, Leroux's approach anchors his tale in a real-world setting, steeped in the lore and architecture of the Paris Opera House. This blending of fact and fiction not only heightens the sense of believability, but also widens the scope of occult and the literature that comes with that, demonstrating that the mysteries of the world are as much hidden in bricks, shadows, and human psychology as they are in ritual or arcane magic. At its heart, The Phantom of the Opera is a story about the human need for love and the devastating consequences of its denial. Eric's tragedy is that of a man who, despite genius and passion, is forever defined by his mask. Leroux's prose captures not just a gothic fantasy, but a parable of beauty, cruelty, and the fragile line between admiration and obsession. Over a century later, the Phantom still sings in the dark corners of our imagination, a reminder that the monsters we fear most are often reflections of our deepest desires and loneliness. Thanks for joining me in the Library of the Occult. Until next time, I'm your host, Saul Muerte.